Raymond Lee Chen, MSIA, Architect, Principal and Managing Director, RLC Global Archicom Pte. Limited, Singapore. With architects forming the equally important real estate link in the shopping center retail chain, it stands to reason that you'll find them in demand at conferences such as this. And Singaporean Raymond travels around the world as a seasoned keynote speaker at many, including ICSC, focusing on all aspects: hospitality, retail, residential and commercial projects. Walking away with a bachelor's degree in arts, architectural studies from the National University of Singapore in 1988, Raymond didn't stop and went on to obtain a bachelor's degree in architecture in 1991 and has been registered at the Singapore Board of Architects since 1994. Having masterplanned and designed several highly successful mixed-use projects across Asia and the Middle East, there has to be some special personal magic, and Raymond maintains 8 keys to a sensational project. Listen now to those principles, as Raymond can cause you to become a market leader, particularly today's topic, using the HeartSell strategy to maximize revenues.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome for Raymond.
Wow, that sounds like the voice of God talking right there. Now, I was humbled every time somebody talks about putting together a big development, whether it's a 500 hectares, 1,000 hectares for 1 million people, customer catchment. We're always dealing with one single customer, one at a time. It's not enough to just talk about a grand vision, but how to deliver that vision to one customer at a time. Now, I was sitting at the bay today, this morning, just meditating, and I was looking at all these beautiful boats in front of me, and I was reminded about 5 years ago how I was in a boat show with a friend. This guy by the name of Mr. Roberts was a very established person, and after a while we landed in one booth, where there were huge yachts, boats, and there was a very special young gentleman, a very good salesperson who came up to Mr. Roberts. After 5 minutes of introductions, he said, "Now, Mr. Roberts," well, he could see that Mr. Roberts had a lot of gold rings on his fingers. He was probably one of those that could buy one of the yachts. He said, "Mr. Roberts, how much time do you spend with your family in a week? Is it 1 day? Is it 2? Or is it 3 days?" And Mr. Roberts says, Now, we all know that Mr. Roberts is a very established person, spending a lot of time on his business, but not spending enough time with his family. And the salesperson knew that, now we have a customer right here. And he started asking questions to my friend. He said, "Now, how would you like to spend time with your family more?" "Yes," Mr. Roberts says, "I would like to do that." "And would you like to spend time with your family on land or on water?" "Well, water would be nice, but land, that's where I can also run off, take a phone call, and thank you for not answering your phone calls as well. And if I had business to do, I'll just run with it. But being on water would be nice too, because that way my children will always be with me on a boat. Would you want to be on something that's 15 foot, 30 foot, or 60 foot?" Now, Mr. Roberts was thinking, now if I had a 15-foot yacht, then there wouldn't be much space for me to kind of share with my family. Now, if I had a 60-foot, now that would be different. Now, Mr. Roberts, if you had a 60-foot yacht, you will now be able to cook with your wife for your children. And they can run around, they can come back. And also, just imagine with me, if you had the spray of the wind in your hair from the sea, and you could hear the sound of the flapping of the wind from the sail in your ears. And as you go out through the blue ocean, just feeling the ripples going by the boat. Now, wouldn't that be nice? Now, I knew I was in front of a fantastic salesperson. Now, this is a person who understands all about seeing, hearing, feeling, touching experiences. Now, he then went on and said, "Okay, Mr. Roberts, we'd love you to try this pleasure craft that you can share with your family." Just notice, all this time, he hadn't been talking about a boat. He had just been talking about something that will enable Mr. Roberts to spend time with his family. And Mr. Roberts was sold by this idea. And the young salesperson said, "Now, why don't you take it back with you for a weekend? Just 2 days, try, run with it, and come back and let us know whether you like it." And guess what? By Monday, he was sold with the yacht, okay? And the young salesman said, now, just to make the deal sweeter, we'll put in an outboard motor for you, okay? Just in case you need to rush back to shore and answer that urgent request from your client. So, well, there you have it. By now, 5 years later, Mr. Roberts has a whole fleet of boats, yachts, and a shipping business. So today, what I want to talk about is the HeartSell strategy, how you can win over the hearts and minds of every single customer and create more revenue for you so that whatever you put on, you will have sustainable income. Now, is that something that you would like to do? Oh, yes, thank you. Wow, I was just hoping that there would be people responding just now, and I'm glad I didn't have to fake it. Okay, so, I come up here as a Singaporean. I'm glad to have another countryman sitting there. And I'm reminded every time I come to Dubai, it's like Singapore. Singapore is a hub of all hubs. They want to be the hub of everything. 20 years ago, they want to be the hub of the exhibition, and then they were the hub of petrochemical industry, and later on they wanted to be hub of pharmaceutical, wafer fab IT, and so on and so forth. Until today, they want to be the hub of the world cyber gaming, where people develop games for all these young people who sit down and play games, and it's a very lucrative industry. So, we've been hearing reports about Dubai so much. In the next 2 years, or in fact between 2004 and 2006, there will be a quadrupling of the amount of retail space that's coming up here. And Dubai is now becoming a category killer for new brands that are coming in from Europe. So how do we create a sustainable business model so that we continue to sell to each individual customer one at a time? All right, so that's something I want to share with you today and give you the 8-point strategy, which is experience-driven, called the HeartSell strategy. So let me ask you this question. Are you giving too much or too little experience to align with your customer's values? When I talk about values, I mean, what does your customer want? What really makes your customer excited about what you're giving them? Is it security when they come to the mall? Certain countries, there's not enough security and people want to feel secure in the place. Is it convenience? Is it choices? Is it time because of the parking that you're giving them? Is it something that is wellness, okay, that gives them a return back to themselves, for example? And are you maximizing your entertainment investment? There's so many entertainment-based thematic experiences in Dubai today, and there's going to be a lot more coming out among the Gulf states. So how do we maximize that investment in entertainment that gives people, your customers, an experience that they want, not just something that's wow? Okay, there's too many wow statements today. Now, I want to bring you back to creating something that people actually want, okay? So is that something that you would like to do? Targeting your segment market correctly? Yes and yes? All right. How can you involve the customer more completely to generate real revenue? Okay, let's look at some principles. Okay, firstly, you got to engage them through the heart. About 5 years ago, I was having heart palpitations. And I went to my doctor and asked, and I got an ECG checked up. Okay, you don't have to tell me who of you have gone for an ECG, but the report came out as saying, I've got a possible myocardial infarction. Do any of you know what that term means? It means that you have a possible heart attack. And I was thinking, I'm too young to have a heart attack. So he said, I know what you're facing. You're facing a big decision in your life. And that was true, because 5 years ago, I was wondering whether to get married. So every time your customers buy something big, there's still always this voice in their ear whispering saying, are you sure you made the right choice? Just before you pull out your wallet, you feel this sudden tension in your heart, and you're not sure whether you're making the right choice. Yeah, and when you put it back in, now that was okay. Let me think about it some more. Now, have I found people who give me the right opinions? Have I done enough checks on this product? Have I checked the specifications? This is what you call by buyer's remorse. Okay? Buyer's remorse is a very interesting phenomena that every time you pull money out from your pocket, you think again. But when you put it back in, it pleases you. Yeah. So there is a string that's linked between your wallet and your heart.